Hi there, I'm GaRRiS. Today I'm going to have a look at changing some guitar strings. This is my guitar and it needs a change of strings. A couple of tools you'll need. A string winder, very useful. Speed things up a little bit. And a set of wire cutters. That'll do the trick. Right, I always find it's best to just change one string at a time. I'm going to start off by taking off my lowest string. And we'll just unwind that. Up, 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 up. Nice and easy. Unhook that there. Up, lift off. Now to get it out at this end, the easiest way is just to give the string a little push, and usually the bridge pin pops out. If the bridge pin's really stuck in, on the end of your string winder, usually there's a little tool that will just hook under it, and you can hook it underneath and just pull it up. Usually I don't need to resort to that. Usually I just have to give the string a little push and down it comes. Right, we'll chuck that one down there. Today I'm going to put a set of these on. There's loads of different types of strings out there and they're all good. Generally, I've never had a problem with any. I like to use bronze strings. Personally, I find bronze gives a bit of a nice brighter sound, and they're a little bit less susceptible to snapping than phosphor bronze, I find. Phosphor bronze seem to be a little bit brittle, but that's just my experience. Right, I'm going to put this low E string on quickly here, and what I do first is just put a little bend in the end of the string, just very, very slightly. I'll show you some close-ups in a minute. We'll do this one first. Pop it in the hole and pop the pin in. Make sure it locates nicely. Pull it up here. I'll make a right angle bend right between the two tuners, just past the tuner that you want to go to. That's my low E. Right between the two, I'll make a right angle bend there. Turn the tuner around so that the hole's going through at that angle. Right angles to where the string comes up. Pop the string in, up to your right angle bend. Bend the string around the tuner, underneath the string, and back over the top of it. And then I take my winder and I just wind it up. And then just to tune up quickly, this is only a rough tune up. I give the string a little bit of a stretch when I'm roughly, just a quick tune up. Very roughly. Doesn't have to be terribly accurate. We'll tune the guitar properly afterwards, and then we'll just nip off that E string there. There we go. Moving on to the A string, we'll unwind that. If you look at the way I put the strings on, they actually lock into place, so when you take the old strings off, you just have to unhook them underneath. Again, I'll try and show you a close-up of that in a second. Push the string down, up, and the bridge pin will pop up. Take the old one off, we'll chuck that on the floor for now. These strings are colour coded. You don't really need the colour coding, to be honest. And they all put them in the same packet. Some strings come in separate packets. I prefer that, to be honest, but hey. We've done those there. Right, I'm looking for my A string now, and you can tell just by looking at them which one's the next thinnest string. Just got to put a little bend just in the end again, not too much. If you bend it too much it might snap, so that just makes it a little bit easier for it to go down and underneath. The string goes underneath the bridge and it just hooks underneath. That's what you want it to do. There you go. Got a bit of a frog in my throat today. Right, here we go. In between the two tuners, there's my A tuner. In between the two, a right angle bend, slot it in, back around itself and underneath itself, back up, take the tuner, the winder, and wind it on up. There we go. And I do a rough tuning here. I tune to the string, I'm tuning to the D string there, which is already vaguely in tune from before. Again, it's only vaguely, so it doesn't really matter. And we'll nip it off. moving on to the D string. Okay, we'll unwind it and I'll show you a bit of a close-up. I'll have a go. There we go. I'll unwind it as much as I can there. Let's pop the guitar on and then I'll bring it up here and you'll be able to see what I'm doing here. There we go. I just need to unhook it because they're all tangled on a bit. Oh. And usually they just pull out. And at the bridge pin here, that one's come loose straight away, but basically when it's locked in, if you just give it a push, then the bridge pin usually just pops straight out. Dead easy. Right, I'm looking for a D string now, which is that one. Okay, here we go. I'm going to put a little bend in it, up, and then it pops in underneath. There we go. Locks in nicely there. Right. Now here, we've got to be a little bit clever because we haven't got a tuner up here. We've only got 6 strings on the guitar. So I'm just going to imagine that there is one there and I'm going to go in between where it would be. Okay, so past the tuner that you want to go to, hold it with your hand, put a right angle bend in it like that. There we go. Now this is the bit that you probably want to see close up. Bring it all the way in, right up to your right angle bend there. And then hold it there. This is a bit tricky for me because I'm stood up here. Hang on, let's turn that tune around a little bit for me. I'm just going to hold it there. Right, now the string comes around and underneath. I don't usually do this, so it's a little bit tricky. Underneath the string there, can you see that? And then it comes round and back up. I'll do it again for you later on the next one, close up so you can see. And then I'll need my string winder. And we'll wind that up there. Now you want the string to go, the windings to go underneath where the other ones are. Keeps it nice and neat. And if you keep a little bit of tension on, can you see with my hand, I'm keeping a bit of tension on the string there. Just so that it keeps it nice and tight on the tuner. There we go. And then to tune up here, I'm playing on the 5th fret on the string I've just put on. There we go. I trim these off fairly close, but not too close. If you use a soft guitar bag, if you trim them off a bit on the long side, they tend to get caught up in your guitar case, which isn't nice. You end up making a right mess of your case. Right, here we go. Let's take this one off. This is the G string now. So you've got to wind the opposite direction because the tuners are the other way around, unless all your tuners are on one side of your guitar, which some guitars are like that. Here we go. Unhook that, up, out it comes. Here we go. Push the string in, out comes the peg. Oh, we've done that on the floor. There we go. I ain't got enough hands, never mind. I've just stuck the tuning peg in my mouth. Well, that doesn't matter. I'm sure you can still understand me perfectly. Here we go. I'll put a little bend in there. I've got to pop that into the hole and push your peg in. Make sure your other pegs stay in nicely. Sometimes they've got a habit of pulling out when you tune the string up, so you have to keep a little eye on that. I'll put that down there a sec. Okay, just past the string. I mean, if you want to be clever, you could say, well, I don't know, 15mm or something. Past the tuning head, and we'll take it and we'll put a right angle bend in there, just like that. Ooh. And here we go. String through the tuner. Okay, put it like that. I'll try and keep a bit of tension on it here. Like I say, it's easier to do this when you're sat down. So there we go. Through there, pull it fairly tight and back on itself. And then if you look at me here, I'm keeping a bit of tension on it with my fingers. And then we'll just wind it up like that. Usually the string tends to go underneath itself on its own. Sometimes you just need to push it down here just to make sure that the windings follow nice and neatly underneath themselves. Up it up it up. There we go. Obviously this is the G string, so to get a B you've got to play on the 4th fret. I say, I'm not too worried about tuning it perfectly right now, because by the time I've stretched all these strings and everything, they're all going to be miles away. Right, I'm going to sit back down. Oh, that's hard work stood up there. Right, let's do the B string and the E string. Exactly the same. These strings are a little bit more fiddly to get off sometimes, because they're pure wire. And be careful you don't cut your fingers on them. I've done that a few times. There we go. Right, you can. That's my B string. Again, if you push the string down into the bridge pin will pop out. Let's see. That's my B string there. Dun, 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 dun. I'll say these things are colour coded, the GaRRiS strings. And there we go. Just past the tuner that you want to go to. Right angle bend. Like I say, it's not too critical. There we go, down to the right angle bend, round the tuner, back round the string, just like that. I hope you're getting this, because although it's fairly straightforward. There we go. I'll nip that off there. Dun, 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 dun. Don't be frightened of breaking the strings. They do break occasionally, but very rarely have I broken strings putting them on. And if you do it properly, if you use the proper method, you're much less likely to break them anyway. Where's my string gone? There we go. Pop that one out there. I've got a whole pile of old strings on the floor here now. Right. These strings, you tend not to have to bend the ends of them so much on the thin strings, because they're a bit more flexible. There we go. I'm going to put my right angle bend in there. Up. Putting the bend in just past your machine head there. It means you've always got the same length of windings on your tuner. I've seen some disaster guitar strings put on guitars in my time, where you've got windings and windings and windings on. So you don't want that, but at the same time you don't want too little either. It's good to have a couple of windings on there. It helps to take the pressure off of the edge of the machine head. Sometimes the string can, these tuners can have little sharp edges on them, especially on the cheaper tuners, and if you haven't got any windings on there, then sometimes that sharp edge can cut through the string and break it just as you're trying to tune it up. So for that reason I like to have a couple of windings around. Some people can, you can get away with shoving the string straight through, pulling it tight and then just wrapping it around itself. I prefer not to do that, just for the reason that occasionally you get strings snapping on that method. This is kind of a mixture of two methods that I've learnt over the years, and this is what works for me. So there we go, the guitar's not quite in tune. Last thing to do, just before you tune up, is give all your strings a stretch. There we go. Don't be too hard on them, just give them a little stretch. And what I usually do then after that is I tune them up, which I'll do a tuning method as another video, and then I'll leave them for about half an hour, and then I'll come back and tune them up again. Okay, thanks for watching, hope you've enjoyed that, hope you learned something. I'll just give you a quick close up there of the guitar head. Look, there's nice and neat, no bits hanging out anywhere, all nice and neat, which is what you want, and there we go. Thank you very much. I'm GaRRiS, look out for some more videos. Cheers.